You guys will ace your exams. I promise. I promise you guys will ace your exams. I'm just going to complete the difficult set 2020, 2016. But I also wanted to make a quick announcement that you all have till 7:30 p.m. 7:30 p.m. max, right? After 7:30 p.m., I won't be entertaining any more requests, but till 7:30 p.m., you guys can send me MCQs, which you have found the most difficult, the MCQs that you guys have faced the most difficulty in, or the MCQs that you still can't seem to wrap your head around. And you guys can send it to me till 7:30. And then after 7:30, or not 7:30, let's make it 6:30. Yeah. So after 6:30 p.m., I won't be entertaining any more MCQs. But what can happen is that those of you who will send me these MCQs, just once you send the picture, try to make the quality of that picture good. When you send me a picture, try to send it in a better quality or screenshot it from a paper so that once we make a PDF, the quality does not deteriorate, right? So send me a picture and write MCQ with it. Right, MCQ. You guys can send me that picture on my contact number, which is 0333, or for international students, it's +92. Let me fix this. +92 333 5694 666. You all can send this the MCQs to me on WhatsApp, and then I'll compile all of those MCQs, the MCQs that you have found the most difficult, the MCQs that you guys have found the most difficult, or the MCQs that you still are finding, difficult to solve. You guys can send it to me on my number. I'll compile all of that, and we will conduct another session later tonight, probably around 8:30 p.m., and I'll solve your queries there, right? So you guys can send me that. Sir, what's the name of your YouTube channel? It's at Carboxyl. Literally, it's written right here. Mhm. Okay, done, dusted, guys. Easy stuff. Should I continue? Should I start? Yes. Can I start? Acha, guys, I just have one request. My request to all of you is to just spread positivity as much as possible, spread as much positivity as possible, spread as much love as possible, and help each other out. Please, this is not the time to be snakes and to, just, yes, I will start the A level course hopefully 1st August. 1st August is my target. I will start AS, inshallah. Yeah, but I want you all to spread as much positivity as possible. Don't be fooled by fraudias. Don't be mean to each other. Just spread love, kindness, and help each other out as much as possible. And I'll be there for you throughout your life, inshallah. If you regard me as your mentor, I will be there for you. I will be there to guide you. And inshallah, after your papers are over on the 11th of June, for most of the students, the papers will be over on the 11th of June. And after that, the O level IGCSE MCQ, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. It's just practice for you guys, right? So I've done O levels, and this is the IGCSE set, but it's the same thing. Your main job is to just practice, right? So after the 11th, the coming weekend, I'll conduct a session in which I will discuss career opportunities with you all, and I'll probably help you guys select A-level subjects as well. Okay, so don't worry about that. For now, just let's focus on your exam. Yeah, I'll be there for you. I'll be there for you. 100%. Okay. Best. Yes, my O-level IGCSE session is beginning from the 1st of July. You guys can contact Miss Noor for it. I don't beg students to share it with their friends or family. This is my hobby. Everybody knows it's my hobby. If you have felt that I'm a good teacher and if you've liked the way I've taught, you guys are more than welcome to share it with whoever you want. But unlike some people, I will not beg you to do this because it's not my bread and butter. I'm a chartered accountant by profession, so I don't need this shit. But it's my hobby. So if you guys want others to, benefit from this, you guys can share the registration forum with your friends, family, whoever you want, right? Great. Okay, let's start, guys. We are short on time. We have to quickly finish this. And it also says element X. It also says element X. Remember, ethanol is not an element, right? Methane and ethanol are already incorrect because it's not an element. It's a compound, right? Because ethanol is C2H5OH and methane is CH4. So the only element you have is hydrogen and uranium obviously is not a fuel. So B is the correct option. Great stuff. Moving on, question 2. The rate of reaction between magnesium and excess dilute hydrochloric acid was followed by measuring the mass of magnesium present at regular time intervals. Okay, remember, he's measuring the mass of magnesium present. See, magnesium present, not magnesium absent, but magnesium present at regular time intervals. Now he's saying, and he wants to measure the rate of the reaction. Great. And magnesium is reacting with dilute hydrochloric acid. Obviously, it'll give me what? Magnesium chloride and hydrogen gas, salt and hydrogen gas, right? Because the magnesium displaces the hydrogen in the acid. Now it says both experiments used 0.1 grams of magnesium ribbon. The acid in experiment 1 was less concentrated than the acid in experiment 2. So if experiment 1 acid was less concentrated, that means it'll have a lower rate of reaction, because the lower the concentration, the lower the frequency of collision, and therefore the lower the rate of reaction. Now if you check this out, C and D automatically are incorrect right off the bat. Why are C and D incorrect? Because mass of magnesium, he's measuring what? He's measuring the mass of magnesium present at regular time intervals. But we know that the mass of magnesium, the magnesium is going to be utilized. It's going to react with hydrochloric acid. So the mass of magnesium present is going to decrease with time. So C and D automatically are incorrect because it's showing the mass of magnesium to increase, whereas we know that it's going to decrease because it reacts with hydrochloric acid. Now, between A and B, we'll have to select. Check this out. If I draw a line here, this is my white line, and that's my yellow line, right? Now, if you check this out, at time is equal to, let's suppose this is 2 seconds. At time equals 2 seconds, you have less mass of magnesium left, for experiment 2, but more mass of magnesium left for experiment 1. Let's suppose mass of magnesium left for experiment 1 is 5 grams and mass of magnesium left for experiment 2 is 2 grams, right? So you guys tell me something. Is this a correct option? Yes, this is absolutely a correct option, because you'll realize that in experiment 1, a lot more mass is remaining at a particular point in time. And if a lot more mass of magnesium is remaining, that means that this magnesium has still not reacted with hydrochloric acid. And this is an indication that experiment 1 has a lower concentration, because lower concentration would mean lower rate of reaction. And lower rate of reaction would mean that this magnesium present is gonna be, there'll be more magnesium present. There'll be more magnesium present at a particular point in time because it hasn't reacted yet. And why hasn't it reacted? Because probably the acid was at a lower concentration. So you'll realize that I'd go for experiment 2 as my more concentrated one than in experiment 1. And that's what the examiner is also saying. The acid in experiment 1 was less concentrated. And how do we know it's less concentrated? Because we look at the mass. The mass of magnesium present is still more, which means it hasn't reacted, which is an indication that yes, experiment 1 has a lower rate of reaction. So A is the correct option. If you look at B, the problem with B is that if I still take time equals 2 seconds, a lower mass of magnesium is left for experiment 1. And this is incorrect, because then that would mean that experiment 1 was at a higher concentration. But that's not what the question is saying. The question is saying experiment 1 was at a lower concentration. I don't do YouTube live because I don't feel like doing YouTube live. I don't do this. I do this as a hobby, Ali. I'm not the type of guy who, posts thumbnails, final call, come here. I just solved 5 MCQs and I'm like, oh, come here. This is the best way you'll learn chemistry. I'm just going to solve 5 MCQs and take a lot of views with my thumbnails. That's not me. Yeah. So I'll upload this onto YouTube later on. Okay. I don't do that stuff. I'll make sure I do a lot more questions than just 5 questions. Okay. A is the correct option. Moving on with question 3. So in question number 1, see, question number 1, even if you did not know this ideology, you still know that it's talking about element X. Ethanol and methane are not elements. So you could quickly, cross these out. And hydrogen is a fuel, and it's an element, and uranium is also an element. But uranium does not undergo combustion. It undergoes nuclear fission. Okay. 4 metals are listed in decreasing order of reactivity, right? So magnesium has the most reactivity, and then it's zinc, then it's iron, and then it's copper. Titanium reacts with acid. So if it is reacting with acid, what does that mean? What does that mean? If titanium is reacting an acid, it should be above copper in the reactivity series. It should be above copper, because copper It's please stop calling me aka zebra. Instead, try learning how copper saves gold. So the reason why copper does not react with the acid is because it's below hydrogen in the reactivity series. And if titanium were to react with the acid, that means it's above copper, it's also above hydrogen, right? So it's also above hydrogen. But let's see how above it is. Let's see how above it is, right? Now it's saying, and cannot be extracted from its ore by heating with carbon. What does that mean? That carbon cannot reduce it. And if carbon cannot reduce it, let me just write the reactivity series down for you. So it's please stop potassium, sodium, calling me a careless zebra. Instead is iron. Try is tin. Instead, try learning. Learning L. L is lead. How? Instead, try learning how copper saves gold. Saves is silver, gold is Au, right? Now, realize that if titanium is reacting with an acid, that means it should be above hydrogen in the reactivity series. And it's saying it can't be reduced by carbon, which means that it is also above carbon in the reactivity series, because you know that carbon can reduce iron. Why can carbon reduce iron? Why can carbon reduce iron? Because iron is below in the reactivity series than carbon. So it can be reduced. That's what happens in a blast furnace. Ain't it? Ain't that true? Ain't that true? So that means that if it can't be extracted by heating it with carbon, that means it's above carbon in the reactivity series. Probably you have to extract it using electrolysis. So it's above carbon as well as above hydrogen. So it's somewhere here. It's somewhere here, right? Somewhere in this area, in this realm, right here, somewhere here. Now, it's saying where should titanium be placed in the list? Below copper, absolute BS, because it can react with an acid. Copper can't react with the acid. Between iron and copper, no, it can't be between iron and copper, because that would mean it would also be reduced by carbon, but it doesn't get reduced by carbon. Between magnesium and zinc, yeah, that makes sense, because between magnesium and zinc, it'll somewhere be, it'll be somewhere around here, because it can't be reduced by carbon. So magnesium se niche, but probably zinc se upar. Yeah, it'll be below magnesium, but probably above zinc. So that's C is the correct option. Between zinc and iron, no, iron again. He's saying iron, but we know that zinc and iron both get reduced by carbon. Makes sense, guys. Makes sense. Please message in the group chat, please. I cannot see the personal messages. I can't see the personal. This has already been shared with in the group chat. You guys can um, go on to my YouTube videos, the live YouTube video, and you guys can any recent YouTube video, and in the drive you guys can download this. Sir, do have white hair, or is it the lighting? No, I have a couple of white hair. This is not my white hair. This is just the lighting, but I have, some white hair here. A couple of white hairs, not as many. Simple cells are not a part of your syllabus, and if you're still concerned about that, you can still open the syllabus, go on to Google, syllabus for O level, yeah, or IGCSE, open it up. You'll find it there. It's not going to be mentioned there. So probably, therefore, that means I am 42 years old. Impure iron from the blast furnace is converted to steel as shown. Which statement about this process is correct? Now, this process is no longer a part of your course. This is basically an oxygen jet. I've taught this in my live classes, but it's not a part of your course. Once you get molten iron from the blast furnace, you put it in an oxygen, you turn an oxygen jet on, and the oxygen basically reacts with some of the carbon that's left. So some of the carbon is still left in the impure molten iron. So you open the oxygen jet to react it with the carbon that is left to vary the percentage of carbon. That's how you get steel. That's how you get your desired steel, because steel is a mixture of iron and carbon. So if you have, let's suppose, 10% carbon here, and you have iron as your 90%, and you want to reduce this 10% to maybe 6%, so you place it in this oxygen jet. Oxygen, you can also call this an oxygen furnace, but it's not a furnace per se. But you turn on the oxygen jet, it reacts with carbon, and lowers the percentage of carbon to your liking. But that's not a part of your course anymore. So it says, which statement about this process is correct? Acidic oxides are added to remove alkaline impurities. No, I just told you the process, which is no longer a part of your course. Oxygen just reacts with carbon to remove the carbon, to probably vary the percentage of carbon in steel. Coke is added. No, that's what happens in lime. That's what happens in the blast furnace. Oxygen is blown to oxidize impure iron. No, oxygen is not blown to oxidize impure iron. It is blown to react it with carbon, to remove carbon, to maybe lower the percentage. Mild steel. You must have studied this. If your teachers are a little old, they must have taught you guys these things, that, there's something called high carbon steel, low carbon steel, mild steel, and whatnot. Okay. So that's not why oxygen is blown. The steel produced contains less carbon than impure iron. Yes, because that carbon is basically being reacted with oxygen. Again, this is no longer a part of your course. Yes, pig iron and whatnot. Which row shows the electronic configuration of sodium ion and chloride ion? Now, sodium ion and chloride ion, they're talking about ions. Now, if you go into the periodic table, sodium is 1123, which means it has 11 protons and 11 electrons. But if it has a 1 plus charge, that means it has one fewer electrons. So sodium ion has 10 electrons. If you look at chlorine atom, it has 17 electrons and 17 protons. But the chloride ion would now have one extra electron. So 17 plus 1, that's 18 electron. And what is the electronic configuration? First shell 2, and then 8 are left. The second shell 8. That's for the sodium ion. And for the chloride ion, it's 2, 8, and then you move to the third shell, which is obviously how many? 8 more. So it's 288, and this one is 28. 288, 28. So let's figure that out. 28. So sodium ion is A or B, and the chloride ion is 288. That's why they undergo ionic bonding to achieve a stable electronic configuration, that of a noble gas. That's also noble gas. That's also noble gas electronic configuration. Moving on. A student added dilute hydrochloric acid to 4 metals and recorded results. Some of these results are incorrect or not correct. Which two results are correct? Now he's adding acid, remember, hydrochloric acid. He's saying when he reacted it with copper, a gas was given off. Oh no, you dumbo! A gas is not given off. Why? Why? Because copper does not react with acid. So this is an incorrect statement. Iron, yeah, iron can react with an acid. Because remember, those metals which are above hydrogen in the reactivity series, they will react with acids. Oh, Ali Afnan has found a picture of me at Aitchison College. Wow, Ali. But I think we are studying chemistry here, not delving into my past. Good old days. Good old days. Acha, hey, 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 come back, everybody. Come back, come back, come back. Hey, hey, guys. Okay, so iron would react. Magnesium, and it says a gas is not given off. Oh, you dumbo, no. Magnesium can react with the acid. It'll give you magnesium chloride and hydrogen gas. So it is above hydrogen in the reactivity series. This reaction would take place. So you think this result is like when you reacted it with an acid, no result was given off? No, you're wrong. That's not what happens, you dumbo. So these are the incorrect ones. Now, zinc, obviously it's above hydrogen, so this will react. So 2 and 4 are the correct options. Therefore, I'll go with D. Petroleum is separated into fractions. Which statement is not correct? We have to look at not correct, please, everybody. Each fraction contains a mixture of hydrocarbon molecules. Yes, that's correct. That's a correct statement because you have, that's why you have, separate fractions, and those which have which are still, like naphtha, kerosene, they have a higher hydrocarbon chain, so then they are further cracked. So A is the correct option, therefore I am going to cross it out. Fuel oil burns easily and is used as fuel in cars. Fuel oil. Remember, I've remembered this through an acronym. The acronym was RG naked, RG naked, and it was FLB. RG naked FLB. This is refinery gas, this is gasoline, this is naphtha, kerosene. This is the order. This is the simplest of the alkanes that you get. And then these are, as you go down the fractionating column, at the bottom, this is what you get. So I've remembered it like this. You guys can remember it as one as you like. So RG naked FLB. What does this stand for? I can't tell. You guys can come up with your own acronyms. But fuel oil is right here. Fuel oil is not used in cars. Gasoline, which is petrol, that's used in cars. Fuel oil has a higher carbon chain length, so it won't combust easily. It would probably result in car knocking. The chick. That's what can happen with fuel oil, or even metti ka tel. A person once, I was going in a taxi once when I was young, and the person put matti ka tel in it. What's matti ka tel? That's basically Kerosene. Kerosene is matti ka tel. So he put that in his Suzuki Mehran and the car went like dichik, dichik, dichik. That phenomenon is called car knocking because the hydrocarbon chain was pretty long. Mhm. So fuel oil is can't. So that's the incorrect statement. And he said circle the incorrect statement. Great. Refinery gas is a fraction containing the smallest molecule. That's true. That's refinery gas, methane. Mhm. The fractions are separated depending on their boiling point range. That's the entire idea behind um, fractional distillation. A solid X is purified in 5 steps. The first 4 steps of the purification are shown in the diagram. So first of all, what's happening? He's using probably a glass rod to stir this solid X. He's trying to purify it. Then he's filtering it out. Then he poured the filtrate. Then he poured the filtrate into an evaporating dish probably. Why is the pen not working? Oh my God, pen, start to work, you dumb person. Oh my God, there's something wrong with my pen. Wait, guys. Oh, Sergeant. Okay, still not working. Wait, let me fix this. Probably it'll work now. So he poured it into. It's still not working, guys. Wait a second. Hold up. Let me pause the video for a moment. You want me to just close the chat? No, then please let's focus. Let's focus. Yeah. So then he poured it into an evaporating dish and probably then he's gonna heat the evaporating dish. Why? Because he wants to crystallize it. He wants to crystallize it, right? So when he crystallizes it, which means the water would evaporate, what is the other step that he can do? That's step 4. He's saying what other step could be step 5? How can he obtain pure sample of solid X? One more step after this is to further filter it out. One more step after this is to further filter it out because what happens is after you heat it till the point of crystallization and you let the solution cool down, crystals start to form. And after crystals start to form, there is still some water molecules. There are still some water molecules left because you don't heat till dryness. Heating till the point of crystallization is not heating till dryness. Remember, so there are still some water molecules left behind. So you filter it further to just obtain that solid and then you dry it by gently tapping it between filtered papers, right? So to remove some water molecules left in this solution or in this mixture, you further filter it out, right? So that's one further step that you could do. So he's saying dissolving is step 5. No, he already did dissolving here. He already dissolved the solid X. Distillation, there's no idea behind distillation because you want solid X. You don't want the water. If you wanted water, then probably you could have performed distillation, right? You would have gotten water, but we don't want water. We want the solid X. So distillation is also wrong. Evaporating, you already have evaporated it. You've already performed crystallization, which is what effectively that's evaporating the water molecules, right? And so yes, filtration is the correct option. D for dogs. Please don't message me privately because I can't see the private messages, guys. There's a problem. I'm going over private messages slowly and gradually, but because I think Zoom has made a stupid update. I swear. Mhm. Sir, can you send this February March paper and the MS in the I can't find. I've uploaded Pocoloco on Pocoloco. I have uploaded it in the. mm, I've uploaded this on YouTube. Step 2 is also filtering. Yes, you filter it once to probably remove some of this excess solid X that has been left behind, or some insoluble particles that have been left behind, and you take the filtrate. But you can still filter it further because you'll realize that once you've heated till the point of crystallization, some of the water molecules are still left. Point of crystallization does not mean that you remove all the water molecules. You just remove enough so that when you let it cool down, the crystals start to form. But the crystals still have some water molecules left. So you further can filter it out to remove the excess water molecules that have been left behind and just obtain that solid crystals. And then you could gently tap it between two filter papers. You can't remove it through your hand. You can't just put your hand inside the bowl like you do in biryanis and kalejis. You can't just do that. You have to follow a proper procedure or else the crystals will break if you use your hands for it. Okay. Chalo, next. Compound T is added to dilute hydrochloric acid and warmed gently. Okay, the gas is given off, which turns acidified aqueous potassium manganate from purple to colorless. Okay, so probably the gas is what? The gas that has been given off is a reducing agent. That's a reducing agent. If it is reacting with an oxidizing agent, the gas that has been given off is a reducing agent. Now, I'm saying a flame test is performed and it gives a lilac flame. Lilac flame. So, lilac flame is the potassium ion. And yes, the test of ions is tested in the MCQs too. So, it is the potassium ion which will eliminate A and B for me because A and B are saying sodium and we know it's potassium. Is it the sulfate negative ion or the sulfite negative ion? Remember, sulfate ions test is not this. The test for sulfate ion is adding barium nitrate, adding barium nitrate aqueous. First of all, you add dilute nitric acid to remove any impurities, and then you add barium nitrate aqueous, and then the barium ion reacts with the sulfate ion or precipitates with the sulfate ion, gives you a white solid. But the sulfite ion is actually that reducing agent. The sulfite, this is a test for sulfite ions. Sulfite ions react with potassium manganate. You can see that at the end of your ATP paper, they give you the sheet, you know. So it's not sulfate, it is sulfite, potassium sulfite. Sulfite is SO3 2 minus, sulfate is SO4 2 minus. Four metals are given. I think we already did this. It's between magnesium and zinc. It's repeating itself. Okay, the table shows the electronic configuration of electronic structure of four atoms. Which two atoms combine to form a covalent compound? Remember, covalent compounds mostly form when non-metal atoms share electrons. So you need non-metal atoms. You need non-metal electronic configuration. If you check this out, the last shell, the final shell, the outermost shell, the valence shell tells you the group number. So this is in W is in group 1, X is in group 4, Y is in group 7, and Z is in group 8. So we can automatically cancel out Z because it's a noble gas. It does not react. It already has a stable electronic configuration. Now between W, X, Y, you could also cancel out W because W is a metal. And metals react with non-metals to give you an ionic compound, not a covalent compound. So the only two options left are X and Y. So it's probably a group 4 non-metal and a group 7 non-metal. So it's X, Y, C is the correct option. W तो नहीं हो सकता ना, W is group 1 and Z can't be it because that's noble gas. Yeah, makes sense. Oh my God, somebody's calling me. Please don't call me right now. Please don't call me. Don't call me right now. Acha ji, wait, let me just quit WhatsApp from here. So my WhatsApp is connected, so when I get a call, it also shows. Yes, I will also check this out. Yes, sodium would give you a yellow flame color. You are right here. Yeah. Now, the equation shows the reaction between magnesium and sulfuric acid. In this reaction, which mass of magnesium sulfate is formed? You need to figure out magnesium sulfate. That's my unknown. And you're given mass of magnesium. What is the first step? Three steps in stoichiometry. First step to convert the known data into moles. Use the equation to find unknown. And third step is to convert it into whatever the question requires. So I'm given the mass of magnesium. So that's my known data. I first of all have to convert magnesium into moles of magnesium. Mass equals, how do you go from mass to moles? Mass equal mole time molar mass. Okay, bacho. Yes, bacho. 6 grams equal mole times molar mass. What's the molar mass, bacho? ठीक है बच्चों, wait, let me open a marking scheme for, okay, no, I'm just kidding, sorry. Magnesium is 24. That's the molar mass. N is equal to 6 times 24. What do I get? 6 divided by 24. What do I get, guys? 0.25 moles. Great. These are the moles of magnesium. Use the equation to find the moles of magnesium sulfate. 1 mole of magnesium gives you 1 mole of magnesium sulfate. So that means if you have 0.225 moles of magnesium, you're going to get same 0.25 moles of magnesium sulfate, obviously. And you don't need moles of magnesium sulfate. What do I need? That's the requirement of the question. Question requires mass. So the third step is to convert the moles into mass. Mass equals, hey, no, everybody, please don't. Mass equal mole times mole of, at least let me throw shade from time to time. From time to time, magnesium sulfate's mass is what? Has he not given it to us? So we'll have to calculate it. Magnesium is 24, sulfur is 32, oxygen is 16, times it by 4 because you have 4 O's. What do we get? 120? 120. So 0.25 multiplied by 120. What does that give me? 0.25 multiplied by 120. So 120 divided by 4. 30? 30. Thanks, Ikra. 30. Pratna, thank you guys. Thanks, everybody. Mhm. When substance X is electrolyzed, the amount, see, these are the most difficult MCQs as per the examiner. So that means if you guys are finding these MCQs easy, just remember you guys will for sure score about 37 out of 40 on your exams if these MCQs are easy for you. When substance X is electrolyzed, the amount of gases P and Q formed, the amount of gases P and Q formed is shown. What is substance X? So remember, P and Q are gases. Okay. And oh, this is a good question. This is a good question. I'm liking this already. P, look at P. P is about twice the amount of Q. You know, P is about twice the amount of Q. So you need gases. First of all, let's talk about this. So you have sodium chloride, aqueous sodium chloride. You have hydrochloric acid. You have, so aqueous sodium chloride means you have the sodium ion, the hydrogen ion, the chloride ion, and because it's obviously aqueous, you also have the hydroxide ion. Similarly, here you have hydrochloric acid, so the H plus ion, the Cl1 minus ion, and the OH minus ion. Then you have dilute sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid is H2SO4. You have the H plus ion and the SO4 2 minus ion, and because water is there, you also have OH minus from water. And then you have molten lead bromide, lead 2 plus, and Br1 minus. So D automatically can be, cancelled out because in D, you're not going to get both gases. Lead 2 plus ion is going to discharge at the cathode, forming a solid lead. So D is automatically incorrect. You need two gases. Now, if you look at A, B, C out, in A, the sodium ion is not going to discharge. The hydrogen ion has a greater reactivity than the sodium ion, so it's going to discharge at the negative cathode. And because it is concentrated between the hydroxide and the chloride ion wins. Similarly, in concentrated hydrochloric acid, we know that the hydrogen ion wins, but because it is concentrated, the chloride ion would obviously win the race. The hydroxide ion doesn't, because remember, the hydroxide ion will always win the race except if a halide ion is present and the solution is concentrated. So if it's conc and group 7 negative ion is present, only then will the group 7 negative ion win the race, right? So in this case, even when you look at these, and in C, the hydrogen ion will win and the hydroxide ion will win. Even if you look at A, B, C, and you did not know the idea behind it, can you guys just I'm solving from your perspective, can you guys just guess whether A, B, or C is correct? You can check it out. See, in A and B you're getting the same products. In A and B you're getting the same products. So even if you are guessing, you should have gone for C, even if you were guessing. But now let me tell you why C is the correct option. Why C is the correct option? Because even if I was guessing, I'd be like, hey, here you're getting hydrogen gas, chlorine gas, hydrogen gas, chlorine gas. So two options can't be correct. That means I should have gone for C, because in C you're getting H plus and OH minus. But remember, the reason why C is correct is because what's happening at the negative cathode is that two hydrogen ions are going to go together. They'll gain two electrons, become H2 gas. And at the positive anode, four hydroxide ions go together, gives you H2O, 2 moles of H2O, oxygen, and it loses a total of 4 electrons, right, guys? Now, remember, these are half equations. If you want to combine these two equations, and if you want to calculate moles, and if you want to talk about moles and volumes and whatnot, you have to write the full equation. And in order to write the full equation, you need to understand that the number of electrons gained must be equal to the number of electrons lost. So lost are 4, that means gained should also have been 4. So I need to multiply this entire equation by 2, and then I need to add them. So what are you going to get? 4H plus ions would react with 4OH minus ions. You could combine them later on. So I added the left hand side, and now I'm going to add the right hand side, and the electrons just cancel out, right? 4 electrons here cancels out with 4 electrons here. And then what do you get? You get two hydrogen ions, and you get two H2O, and you get O2. So remember, look at this. Hydrogen, there are twice as much hydrogen as there are the oxygens, right? You have twice the volume of hydrogen present compared to oxygen, because it's 2:1. And that is what you can see here. P is twice the amount. P is basically hydrogen. That's the negative cathode. That's the positive anode. So here, the hydrogen ions were discharging to give you 2 moles of hydrogen. And here, only 1 mole of oxygen was formed, right? That's why C is the correct option. We don't care about the color, Khizr. There would be a yellowish gas, whatever. We don't care about the color. I've already explained this multiple times before, so you guys can rewatch the recording to understand it again. Okay. Question 11. The energy level diagram for the reaction between sodium hydrogen carbonate and dilute hydrochloric acid is shown. Which row correctly describes this reaction? The energy correctly describes the type of reaction and the energy of reactants and products. See, products are here. These are the products, right? That's the energy of product. And so simple. The energy of products is greater or lower than the energy of reactants. These were my reactants and these are my products. It's literally written in the question. So products have higher energy or lower energy. Obviously, products have a higher energy than the reactants. So the products have more energy. The reactants do not have more energy. B is out. The reactants do not have more energy. D is also out. Now, between A and C, is it endothermic or exothermic? Endo or exo? See, if you look at the overall reaction, he's just given you the overall reaction. The overall reaction is from the reactants to the top. It's upwards. It's an endothermic reaction. That's the overall. If the line was pointing downward, that would have meant that the energy is being given out. This is not the energy is not being given out. The overall energy is being taken. And if you still find it difficult to wrap your head around this, you could also do it mathematically. What is happening? Reactants are gaining what? Reactants are gaining energy to give you, I shouldn't write this E, I should write this E. Reactants are gaining energy to give you what? Products. What type of a reaction is this? Endothermic. Because in endothermic, reactants take in energy to give you products, right? So you could also solve this mathematically. That's why, products are at a higher energy than the reactants, because the products also have this E. So it's an endothermic reaction, not exo is the correct option. Which statements are properties of an acid? It will react with ammonium sulfate. Ammonium sulfates are slightly acidic salts. So acids would not react with them. You've studied this in your O levels and IGCSE that it should react with ammonium salts react with strong bases, not with acids, because it itself is slightly acidic. It's not an acid, but it's slightly acidic. That's why, remember ammonium chloride reacting with sodium hydroxide, you know, gives you sodium chloride, ammonia gas, and H2O. So it wouldn't react. Acids won't react. Strong base would. It turns red litmus blue. No, that's what bases do, or alkalis. It's not what as an acid turns damp blue litmus red. Yeah? So both are incorrect. D is the correct option then. Some properties of four elements are shown in the table. Two of these elements are in group 1 of the periodic table and two are in group 7. Now, let's dissect this. Some MCQs are very easy to do, but it's difficult for me to explain, because I have to explain every single thing. So that takes a little time. So just bear with me when I dissect the MCQ for you. Some properties like the MCQ here, it's pretty easy. If you just do elimination method, you realize that these two would give you the same result. So probably C would be the correct option. But that's the idea. The reality behind it is this, and you could rewatch it if it still didn't make sense to you. Some properties are shown. Group 1, 2 are group 1 and 2 are group 7. Let's figure out which of these are group 1 and which of these are group 7. Now, it's saying P reacts vigorously with water and its physical state is a solid. What does this indicate? Is it group 1 or group 7? Group 1 metals are solids, and also know group 1 metals react vigorously with water. So probably that's group 1. Dissolving, Q is saying Q does not react with water. So probably that's group 7, because group 1s, they do react. Group 1s, they do react. They're highly reactive metals. And R reacts explosively, probably group 1, but is R going to be more reactive than P, or is it going to be less reactive than P? R is going to be more reactive than P because R is reacting explosively. P is reacting vigorously, but R is reacting explosively, which means it's, bringing about fire as well. So R is more reactive than P. That's what we realized. And it's saying S dissolves giving a colored solution. So probably S is also going to be group 7 because two group 1s have already been identified, and saying two are group 1s and two are group 7. So S will also be group 7. And S is a liquid at RTP. And group 7s are metals. Now I think P is below R in group 1. No, it is P is below R in group 1. No, R is below P in group 1, because you realize that down group 1, the reactivity of metals increases. So if R is more reactive than P, that means that R is below, it is down the group in as per the group, as far as the group is concerned. So probably R is somewhere lower at the bottom, somewhere at the bottom in the periodic table. So this is incorrect. Q is above R in group 1. Q is not in group 1, firstly. So let's cancel that out. Q is below S in group 7. Q is below S in group 7. Let's figure this out. Q is below S in group 7. Realize that in group 7 you have fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. Which of these is more reactive? Which of these is more reactive? You know, reactivity for group 7s, it decreases down the group. Reactivity decreases. You know, fluorine is the most reactive out of all of these. So reactivity decreases, but you know that fluorine is a gas, chlorine is a gas, bromine is a liquid, and iodine is a solid, right? So if Q is a solid, that means Q is iodine or tennessine, because tennessine has now also been introduced in your course. So Q is probably iodine. And S, if you look at S, S is a liquid. So liquid is bromine. So is S above Q? This is probably S, and that's my beautiful Q, you know. So is S above Q or is S below Q? It's in Q is below S in group 7. Q is most definitely below S, because Q is a solid and solid is iodine or tennessine. It's not bromine. Bromine is above iodine, right? So yes, Q is in fact below S in group 7. How easy is this? Literally. R is below S in group 7. R is not in group 7. So D is wrong. 3 students XYZ were told that solid P reacts with dilute acids and it also conducts electricity. So if it reacts with acids, probably it's a metal. And it conducts electricity, which would mean that it's further an indicative that it's a metal because it has delocalized electrons. Done, sir. Now it's saying the table shows the suggestions about P. It can be copper, iron, graphite, absolutely BS. It can't be copper, absolutely BS. It can't be graphite. Why can't it be copper? Because copper does not react with acids. Copper is below hydrogen in the reactivity series, does not react with acids. And if you look at graphite, again, graphite does not react with acids. Graphite react nahi karta acids ke saath. It's only iron which is the correct option, because although graphite can conduct electricity and even copper can conduct electricity, but they don't react with acids. Only iron reacts with acids. Will these MCQs repeat in tomorrow's paper? Hanya, God knows. I don't know any mnemonic of brainy friends. What's the difference between readily, explosively, vigorously? Iman is just English. Explosively means very, 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 very reactive. Vigorously means very, very, very reactive. Readily means very reactive. सर या अल्लाह वो एमसीक्यूज आज जो मैंने पास्ट पेपर में देखे हैं guys it's a pretty easy MCQ paper I swear to God just watch the couple of videos that I've posted onto YouTube and I swear Ayan stop lying. Ayan is saying my chemistry is bad. He's lying, guys. He's a snake. He's a typical example of a snake. I swear. I'm not even joking with you guys. Run away from those friends who say, oh my god, it's so difficult, so difficult. And then they end up getting an A star. And then once they get an A star, you ask them, where have you studied from? They say, instead of telling you Sir Suleiman, they say, pata nahi, I don't even know kaise aaya A star. I don't even know. So that's what happens. Please stay away from these snakes. Please stay away from these snakes. Was Sarabas like that? Definitely. Sarabas got, I think, 13 A stars in O levels. I think he got 13 A stars or 12 A stars, 12 A star in his O levels. I got 8 A stars, 2 A's, but Sarabas's level is next level. I can't reach his level. My brother will be joining, inshallah, Conceptuals Academy. He'll be teaching AS level chemistry. He got his master's completed from Imperial College London in molecular engineering and undergrad as well. And now he's doing PhD from Caltech and Imperial. It's a joint PhD. And my brother, I think he got 13, 14 A stars and a distinction as well. He got a distinction in world history. So it's just me who's a little dumb. I always say I've always been a below average student. I have gotten A stars, but I've never been a nerd. I've played table tennis, cricket, football, everything. I've enjoyed life. Mashallah, alhamdulillah. You know. So don't be a nerd. Ho jata hai yaar. So you've gotten 8 A stars and 2 A's and you're calling yourself dumb. I am. I'm not that smart. Or maybe I'm just underestimating myself. Okay, un poco loco re. ये एवरेज तो नहीं अच्छा चलो चलो लेट्स कम बैक टू दिस W, X, and Y are metals, one of which is copper and one of which is iron. Okay. How would you know which of these is copper and which of these is iron? Well, probably copper wouldn't be the one reacting with the acid and whatnot. So it says W has a colored oxide which can be reduced by carbon. Which of these have a colored oxide which can be reduced by carbon? If it can be reduced by carbon, I know that it's below carbon in the reactivity series. Probably iron, probably iron. But let's see. It's below carbon in the reactivity series. Okay. And I think X has a black oxide and is found in nature as a pure metal. See, iron is not found as a pure metal. Iron is found in its ore form, Fe2O3 hematite, right? Copper is found in its pure form, copper, silver, gold. These are the three metals which you can find in its pure elemental form. And the black oxide is copper 1 oxide. You don't need to know that copper 1 oxide is black because it's no longer a part of your course, but that's a black oxide, right? So X is copper and Y has an oxide which cannot be reduced by carbon. And this now definitely confirms that Y is not iron because iron can be reduced by carbon. So Y is something else. It is something above carbon in the reactivity series. And then this has been confirmed that W is in fact iron and Y is something above carbon, right? So which of these is the most reactive metal out of all these three metals? Obviously Y is the most reactive. And possible identity of W is what? W is iron, not copper. So not copper, it's iron. Yeah. Guys, remember, these A stars don't define you. They just make life a little easy for you. A stars will get you into a better college. And once you get into a good college with scholarships, then you guys can study from me and go on to become great scientists or entrepreneurs. So if I do CA, will I be crazy rich? I don't know. So stop lying. You are so. I shouldn't open these private messages, huh? See, if I'm rich, that does not mean I'm rich because of me being a chartered accountant or working in one of the big four accounting firms in the world. Roma, even if you know that, it's not because of CA. Don't have this mentality that if you do CA, you're gonna be very, very rich. I'm just saying you guys are missing. I will talk about career opportunities for you all. Chartered accountancy. Said working in the big four accounting. Thanks for that information. See, I want to tell you all something that you all need to understand is be exceptionally good at what you do. Be entrepreneurs, don't be workers. Be entrepreneurs, be scientists, be big people. you know Create a positive impact in the society. How can you become rich? Poco loco. The only way you can become rich is, one of the only ways is if you are good at what you do. It doesn't matter if you're a chartered accountant. There are chartered accountants who are earning millions and millions per month, not because they're chartered accountants, but because they have other businesses too. There are chartered accountants who are not even earning 100,000 a month. Entrepreneur is a businessman, Ali Afnan. So there are scientists who are earning billions and billions, and then there are scientists who are earning nothing. There are engineers. So you just need to be exceptionally good at what you do, or be up there. Be at par. Sir, are F students inventors? There may have been some F students who were inventors, but most inventors were all not F students. Jeff Bezos, he studied from a big ass university. Mark Zuckerberg studied from dropout from Harvard. Bill Gates probably dropout from Harvard. Elon Musk, I think he went to Stanford. So all of these people were they reached somewhere before dropping out. So just keep that in mind. Okay. Which statement about the uses of metal is correct? Aluminum is used in the manufacture of aircraft because it has low density. That's why. And it's resistant to corrosion. So I say because of its strength and high density, not because of its high density, you dumbo. If it had, then it would not help in aerodynamics. So copper is used in electrical wiring because of its strength. No, it's used because it is highly ductile. It is very ductile because the layers can slide over each other. So not because of its strength and high density, but because it is ductile. Mild steel has, moderate level of carbon. It has moderate level of carbon percentage, right? It is used to manufacture car bodies because of its strength and resistance to corrosion. Mild steel is not that hard, remember. So if mild steel is not that hard, how can it be used to make car bodies? Car bodies are pretty hard because they need to work really well if God forbid somebody gets into an accident. So that's not what. See, they're so logical. All these MCQs are so logical, man. And see, stainless steel is used in the construction of chemical plant because of its strength and resistance. Yes, stainless steel has a very high strength and it is also resistant to corrosion. One more thing that you need to know is mild steel is not resistant to corrosion because steel has effectively iron and carbon, and iron can corrode. So then you guys may ask, sir, why doesn't stainless steel corrode? Because along with iron, it also has nickel and chromium, which prevents it from corrosion. So steel, any type of steel other than stainless steel is going to corrode. This is part of your course. Because even if you did not know about this mild steel bit, you knew that it's not resistant to corrosion. Steel is not resistant to corrosion. It is iron. Sulaiman Khan, can you tell what our timetable for today? Bata de. What timetable? Mhm. Sir, have you done Mole's MCQ topical? I have. Mhm. Probably on YouTube. Find it. A new planet has been discovered. Ooh, fancy. Ooh. And its atmosphere has been analyzed. Atmosphere planet. Great. The table shows the composition of its atmosphere. Which gases are present in the Earth's in the atmosphere of the planet in a higher percentage than they are in Earth? you know so earth's percentage has about 1% of carbon dioxide and other noble gases, and out of this 1% about 0.1% is carbon dioxide. So that's in earth. I'll write earth here. So about 1%, right? Then nitrogen is 78% and oxygen is 21%. Now I think which of these gases are present in the planet are in a higher percentage. So carbon dioxide is in a higher percentage and oxygen is in a higher percentage, not nitrogen. Earth has more nitrogen. So it's about carbon dioxide and oxygen. So it's four and it's this and this CO2 and O2. So that's A. A for apples. Why B? A Tamur. Why B? Why do you think B? Hey Avinash, what's up, kiddo? Long time no see. An atom of element Q contains 19 electrons, 19 protons, and 20 neutrons. Remember, whenever you're given protons, just go to the periodic table and check out which element it is. Because remember, proton number is the identity card of any element. Yes, you need to know the constituents of stainless steel: iron, carbon, nickel, chromium. So go to the periodic table. Which of these have 19? I think it's potassium. Potassium has 19 protons. And if it has 19 electrons, that means he's talking about the atom potassium, not the ion, because ion would have 18 electrons then. I think what is Q? Q is potassium. Literally. Some of you, my guys, may think, oh, sir, but calcium is also 20. 20. No, 20 is the proton number, 40 is basically the mass number. 40 is the mass number and 20 is the proton number. But here the proton number is 19. It does have 20 neutrons, but it doesn't have 19 protons. Who got this wrong, bruv? Somebody did. It's okay. Everybody has their strengths and weaknesses. Don't worry. Is the periodic table given in this paper? Which teacher have you been studying from? It is definitely given. It's not meticulation. Someone achieve good grades if he changes from sciences in O level to businesses in A levels. Yes, Ali, a lot of students go from sciences to businesses in A levels. What our timetable for today is, I'm just gonna complete this, and after this, I'll tell you what to do. I'll tell you what to do. Are you asking for it? Are you dying for it? What does that mean? What does that mean? Complete mean? Don't tell me what to do, Pooja. Don't tell me what to do. You do not tell me what to do. If you want to speak in an in an Indian accent or Pakistani accent, just replace the T with a D. That's what I figured out. See, or you are you dying for it? Or no, not it. It. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to do. See, that's so funny. You just replace the T with a D. Don't tell me what to do. Here's the thing, I get confused between nitrates test and ammonium ion test. See, in ammonium ion and the nitrate ion, both have sodium hydroxide, and both need to be warmed. The only difference is that in the nitrate ion, you also need to use aluminum foil. If you're using aluminum foil, then you're testing for nitrate. If you're not, then you're testing for ammonium ion. Don't tell me what to do. Okay. Sodium hydroxide solution is added. A green precipitate forms, which means it can be the iron 2 plus ion or it can be the chromium 3 plus ion. But he's saying it dissolves. If it dissolves, then it's most definitely the chromium 3 plus ion because the iron 2 plus ion does not dissolve. A small piece of aluminum foil. See, Khizr, it's aluminum foil. So what is he testing for? Aluminum foil. What is he testing for? What is he testing for? Aluminum foil. If he's using aluminum foil, sodium hydroxide, and warming it, what is he testing for? Nitrate ion. Just remember it like this. Yeah. And saying a gas is given off which turns damp red litmus paper blue, which means yes, the nitrate ion is in fact presenterino. You guys may ask, sir, where is the sodium hydroxide coming from? It's already added here. NaOH. It's already added, and then he's further adding aluminum. So it's what is the compound? It's chromium 3 plus and nitrate. So it's chromium nitrate. That's the compound. So it's chromium 3 nitrate. It's not aluminum. Aluminum gives you a white PPT. And iron, you could have even looked at iron, iron and aluminum. Iron does not dissolve. Ammonia mine is NH4 1 plus ammonia gas is NH3 gas. I think we already did this. Did we do this? Okay, we haven't. Just a couple of more MCQs, Fatima. Which subjects did you study in A levels? I did sciences. I had sciences. A stars in my chemistry. Sir, I was the one asking for 500 MCQs. Okay. Now, Musab, there are no 500 MCQs. And yeah. John, I got an A in computer science, not an A star. I was pathetic. I learned computer science. It's pathetic at computer science. Even in physics, I was pathetic. I don't know how I got an A star. Musa, indeed, somebody pranked you. But there are a lot of MCQs available on YouTube. Inshallah, we are announcing one of the best computer science teachers. I always encourage young blood. So his name is Maz Munir. We are gonna make the announcement, inshallah, soon. Maz Munir is gonna be teaching you guys, or maybe not you guys, but your juniors O level and IGCSE computer science. He's one of the top-notch people to teach. I always encourage young blood. In any case, why didn't I get to know about you earlier, sir? Musab, that's a problem that your seniors or your friends have it's because of your friends that you haven't found me. Why is the name of your channel Carboxyl? It's Carboxyl because I wanted to name my channel Carbonyl, which is C double bonded to O. But my brother said, name it hydroxyl, which is the OH functional group. That's hydroxyl, that's carbonyl. So that's carbonyl functional group, that's hydroxyl. So my brother said, name it hydroxyl. I wanted to name it carbonyl, but if you combine these two, that gives me carboxyl functional group. That's why it's named carboxyl. That's literally why it's named carboxyl. Maz is your senior. He's a gem of a person. Those who can get guidance from us, they can. Even if you guys are starting off with businesses or whatever, I'll be the first to promote you. I'll be there with you. This is the age. You guys are the young blood. You guys can do anything. I'm not saying go on and become teachers. I'm not saying that. You guys can do whatever you want, but just be the best. Maz is the one who told me about you. That's awesome. Shabash Sharif type motivation. Let's go. Yeah. If you love me, then I love you too. That's what our Mia Muhammad Nawaz Sharif said. Hey, chill, guys, chill. Okay. Reaction with steam. So he's saying W reacts with steam, Y reacts with steam. So W and X does not. So W and Y are more reactive than X. Right? So what is the most reactive first? The least reactive is X right here. So I can cancel out B and I can cancel out D because W is not the least reactive, X is the least reactive. Then between A and C, we have to select, right? Now, it's saying that W reacts with dilute acid and Y also reacts with dilute acids. So W and Y both react with dilute acids. But when you react it with carbon, W reacts, but Y does not show any reaction. And this is where a lot of students went wrong. This is where you guys are also going wrong and selecting the most difficult, the most incorrect MCQ. And a lot of students made this mistake here, because that's what the examiner also said, that students made the biggest blunder here. Because realize that if it can react with carbon, if it can react carbon, that means it's below carbon in the reactivity series. If carbon can be used to extract it from its oxide, then it means it's below carbon in the reactivity series, like iron, you know. So if Y is not reacting with carbon, it is not reacting with carbon, the oxide of Y is not reacting with carbon, that means Y is more reactive than W. Yeah. So if Y is more reactive than W, I shall go for C, not for A. And that's how easy it is, I swear. I swear, there's like nothing in these MCQs. Or do you want me to announce a 5-year organic chemistry marathon in which I'll just do 7, 8 questions? Do you want me to do that? You want me to live stream that? If you want that, I can do that as well if you want. Yeah. Just 5 years organic chemistry. Just doing 8 questions in it. Oh no. Bacho. Yes, bacho. Yes. The table shows the I'm just against fraudias. That's all I am against. I'm not saying anything. It's just I'm against people uh, I'm against people. Okay, wait. Hey, chill, chill. I'm against people. I've removed the all chat. I'm against people who uses who use the emotions of student for their own personal advantage, for their own personal benefit and personal gains. That's the only thing I'm against. I want to create scientists. I want to empower students. I want to be the one that, when you guys grow up, I wish that each and every one of you create a positive impact in the society and help each other out. That's all I want. That's literally all I want from you. Not to have to grow a long ass beard and cut your mustache and then have fraudulent dealings with people and rip people off. That's not how I want to train you. Praying, following your religion is something very personal. That's on you. I have never used religion to tell students that come. This nowadays this has become a trend. Teachers are saying to parents that if you enroll students in my classes, their religion will also be protected, because I will recite the Holy Quran from time to time. I will teach them this. This is literally being used by teachers. It is pathetic. It is pathetic that religion is being used to bring students for their own personal gains. So it is pathetic, and I will teach you guys to this is your own personal. Religion is very personal to each and every one of you. You guys may be Muslims, you may be Hindus, you may be Christians, but there should be religious harmony. I want that harmony to be instilled in you. I don't want you guys to be extremists, to be radical. I want you guys to be good human beings. Maybe God forgives his part. Maybe he does. But he will never forgive you if you've wronged another person. He will never forgive you as long as the person does not forgive you. So remember this. Karma is a bitch. It is indeed a bitch. Whatever you are, as long as you are good with humans, that's all I want. That's literally all I want. Be good when dealing with humans. Be good with humans. Be good with people. Be fair in dealings. Don't use religion for your own personal gains. Don't be extremists. Always, 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 promote each other and promote prosperity, promote kindness, love, and all of that. Yeah. Sir, play this at the end. Okay, I'll play it. Let's see. Chalo. Okay. Yeah. Because the problem is, यार मतलब अफसोस होता है. It's quite disappointing how our teachers are doing these things. It's unfortunate. I said, are you the feminist of students? Absolutely, I am. Absolutely, I am. I always encourage a lot of my girly girls, a lot of my girly pops. I have a young sister. She comes here. She goes like, "Girly, baddie." That's what she does. It's so cute. She's very young, and she's learned these skills. So I always encourage, like my sister, I always encourage all my students, my girlies, that they should do something big. They are always underestimated in the society, and they should prove everybody wrong by being great entrepreneurs, by creating a positive impact in the society, by helping others, by making something, making something that even Pakistan has never seen, by inventing something, by making a such a beautiful business structure and whatnot. So this is what I want for all my female students. And for my male students, I always encourage them to not, to not be caught up with the 9 to 5 job, and 9 to 5 or अच्छी job lag jaye. Job is all good. Always go for a job initially, because that'll give you experience. But after that, become entrepreneurs, become great businessmen, do something big for the society, create a positive impact. I want, when I grow old, obviously our age difference is not that much, so hopefully I'm alive when you guys are making all of these inventions and discoveries and creating this positive change in the society. But I hope that, whenever any of you gets at a top position, I can, say that that is my student, and these are the kids that I have prepared for this day, who are serving the nation, who are serving the people. Even if you don't want to be a businessman or a businesswoman, as long as you can create a positive change in the society, that's all I want. Okay, I वापस आ जाए यार. The table shows the electronic configuration of 4 atoms. Which 2 atoms combine to form a covalent compound? We literally did it. It's X and Y. C is the correct option. Moving on. Potassium forms a compound with fluorine. So that's going to be potassium is in group 1, fluorine is in group 7. Potassium loses an electron, fluorine is going to gain an electron, obviously. Guys, the Zoom has done something, so I'm going to open the chat again, because I can't individually read every single message. I don't know what Zoom has done. Zoom is just pathetic for doing this. Okay, so it's saying which statements are correct. The compound is ionic. Absolutely, it is ionic compound. The formula is Kf. Yes, for one potassium ion, you just need one fluoride ion because the charges are balanced. And the compound is soluble in water. Yes, it's soluble because all group ones are soluble in water. And if you did not know that, you also know that all group sevens are soluble except for LMS, lead, mercury, and silver. So 1, 2, 3, all are correct. 1, 2, 3. When we were young, this video used to come on, this advertisement. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, Rafan Magic 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, Rafan Magic 3. Yeah. Which statement are properties of an acid? We already did that. It's D. They don't react with ammonium salts because their ammonium salts instead are slightly acidic. Cringe हो गया थोड़ा सा. बेटा चट से छलांग मार के ना मर जाओ. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. डिटॉल की बोतल लो और पी जाओ. Swear to God, I am here sitting with you guys on the third day. I'm joking. I'm just kidding. Sir, मैं मारता हूँ. नहीं नहीं और नहीं और नहीं और नहीं. सर्फ ना खाओ. Okay. Which statement about ethanol is correct? It burns in air to form ethene and water. Huh? It burns in air. Ethanol reacts with oxygen to give carbon dioxide and water. It does not give ethene and water, but ethene reacts with steam to give you ethanol. That's what happens. That is what happens. Acha. It is prepared from ethene by fermentation. No, fermentation is of glucose. C6H12O6. Glucose is fermented to give you ethanol. Not ethene is not. Ethene की hydration होती है, right? It is prepared from glucose in an addition reaction. It is not prepared from glucose in an addition reaction. It is prepared from glucose through fermentation. It is the only product. Yes, it is in fact the only product because it is an addition reaction. It is hydration of ethene, right? You react ethene with steam and you get ethanol, C2H5OH. Yeah. And you need to provide the temperature of about 300 degrees Celsius, pressure of 60 atmospheres, and a catalyst, which is acid. You could use any acid, but normally it is acidified aqueous phosphoric acid. So D is the correct option because it is in fact the only product. That's the definition of an addition reaction. Addition reaction is the reaction in which only one product forms. So I've done all variants of 2023 to 2025 IGCSE and I'm getting a 33 plus. That's awesome. That's awesome. Bilal Singh, I have done almost no preparation, but I've seen your videos, but that's it. Bilal, hopefully it'll get you through it. Don't worry. Even if you've watched these videos and understood things conceptually instead of just circling things, it'll get you through it. Hopefully, I'm praying for you. Which substance could not be used as a fuel? to heat water in a boiler, which cannot be used. Obviously, oxygen. These are all fuels. All of these three are fuels. Oxygen is not a fuel. Oxygen just helps in burning. Do you know who invented oxygen? Discovered, not invented. What am I saying? Who discovered it? His name was Joseph Presley. His name was Joseph Presley. He was a priest, and he started burning things. And he was like, "Oh, things are burning," and he used the gas that he used to burn things was oxygen. So oxygen is not a fuel. It just helps in burning. Sir, do you support homicide? No. I used to get 38. Now I'm getting 35. Please tell what to do. Uh, Joseph Presley. Joseph Oxygen. Which metal reacts with steam but not with cold water? Which metal reacts with steam but not with cold water? Remember, those metals do not react with water, which are below hydrogen in the reactivity series. And now you'll have to look at, it's basically a reactivity question. You'll have to look at metals which are closer to hydrogen, in the reactivity series. Those metals would probably not react with cold water, but react with steam, because the higher the temperature, the more easily they would react. Now, if you look at the reactivity series, please stop calling me a careless zebra. You need to know this. Instead, try is tin, learning is lead, how copper saves gold. So if you look at all of these, which of the options is the closest to hydrogen? I think it's zinc. Zinc is very near to hydrogen compared to magnesium. Compared, copper does not react with water at all. Be it cold water, be it hot water, it does not react with water. Copper does not react with water at all. Copper, silver, gold, they don't react. Yeah. So between calcium, sodium, and zinc, calcium and sodium are here, and zinc is here. So which one is closer to hydrogen? The one that is closer would be less reactive. So yeah. So do you know Sir Atif from Kempro? No, kiddo. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to do. So, which of these would not react with cold water but with steam? Probably it's zinc. Because remember, sodium is highly reactive, it's explosive. B, because copper does not react with either, it neither reacts with cold water, Musa, nor does it react with hot water. Copper is below hydrogen in the reactivity series. Mhm. Even if ethanol is flammable, even hydrogen is flammable. It has nothing to do with flammable. What can you use as fuel? Fuels are flammable. Oxygen is not a fuel. That's the thing. I don't know what to do. Sir, organic MCQs. I've done a lot of organic chemistry MCQs. Sir, मेरा grade B से ऊपर नहीं जा रहा. Help me. I don't know what else I can. Dania, I just say practice now and just watch this and just revise from notes and be confident while attempting the paper. God will help you. Hopefully, I'm praying for you. Okay. Information about for oh wow live stream. Let's go. 10 years organic chemistry. I just do 10 MCQs, but 10 years, inshallah. Final call. Let's go. Yes, final. Information about four hydrocarbons is shown. Which statement is correct? Hydrocarbon W has the same formula as hydrocarbon W. Now, if you look at W, it is carbon, one carbon is meth, two carbon is eth, three carbon is prop, four carbon is but, right? And it's saying if it does not react with bromine water, which is Br2 aqueous, you know that alkanes don't react with bromine water, right? So this is methane, that is ethane, and this is propene, and that is butene because alkenes decolorize bromine water. So this is ene and this is ene. This is ene and this is ene. So hydrocarbon W has the formula CH4. It does. But can it be polymerized? No. Alkenes are polymerized. Hydrocarbon X has the formula C2H4. No, it doesn't. It's C2H6, you dumbo. Because it's ethane. It is CnH2n plus 2. That's wrong. Hydrocarbon Y has the formula C3H6. It's propene. Propene is 3 carbon. And alkenes are, the number of hydrogens are twice the number of carbon, right? And it's saying, and it can be polymerized. Absolutely. Polypropene can form. Polypropene. Yeah. Hydrocarbon Z has the formula C4H10. It's butene. It doesn't have the formula C4H10. It is C4H8. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Yeah. A sample of green food coloring was separated into its component colors using paper chromatograph. Eh? The results obtained are shown. What is the RF value of the blue spot? So check this out. If you want to calculate the RF value of the blue spot, you measure this and then you divide it by the solvent front, right? So what do? You measure the distance traveled by the substance, which is in this case the blue spot, divided by the distance traveled by the solvent front or the solvent. The reason why you say solvent front is because remember, we stop an experiment at at a particular height from the top of the paper. And the reason is if I don't draw the line called the solvent front, then this solvent can travel all the way up and then all the way down, causing smudging. It can travel all the way down on the back side of the paper, and then it will cause the spot to smudge. That's why we need to stop it at a certain level below the height of the paper. Only alkenes are polymerized in the addition ones. Yes, Iman. Yes. So what is the RF value? It's not 1.1. RF value can't be more than 1. So it's not 1.1, 2.2. So it's between 0.90 and 0.45. What do you guys think? 0.90 would be probably for the yellow spot right here. This would have been 0.90. So it's probably A. And you could also measure it with ruler. Probably this is 2 centimeter and this is probably 10 centimeter. And you guys could divide the two. Mhm. The electrolysis of concentrated hydrochloric acid is shown. Which statement describes what happens to the electrons? Electrons. What happens to the electrons during electrolysis? What happens, guys? What happens? The hydrochloric acid is H plus ions, Cl1 minus ions, and because it is concentrated, the hydroxide ions would not win the race. The chloride ions would win and the hydrogen ions would win, right? And this is what's going to happen. At the negative cathode, two hydrogen ions are going to gain two electrons and become H2. And at the positive anode, two chloride ions are going to go and form Cl2 by losing two electrons. So it says, what happens to the electrons? Remember, electrons, they are added to the chloride ions. No, the electrons are lost from the chloride ions. They are added to the hydrogen ions. Yes, they are indeed added to the hydrogen ions. The hydrogen ions gain the electrons. They move through the circuit from positive to negative. Electrons move from negative to positive. Please, current, conventional current, which you've studied in your physics, that goes from positive to negative. But as far as my knowledge is concerned, I think I remember this from O levels that conventional current is positive to negative. Correct me if I'm wrong. But current is electron flow is negative to positive. So the electrons move through the circuit from negative to positive, not from positive to negative. See, it goes like this. Electrons are like this here, and here it comes back. So they don't move from positive to negative per se, they move from negative to positive. Physics is physicing hard. They move through the solution from negative to positive. The electrons, there are no electrons in the solution. There are ions in the solution, please. Bacho, there are ions in the solution. Okay, bacho. Yeah. बच्चों मेरे प्यारे बच्चों सर आपने बोबा टी पी है यस आई डोंट लाइक बोबा टी सैयद साद आई स्वेयर आई डोंट लाइक इट यार कसम से मैं ऐसी बातें ना करता अगर अगर तू जितना फ्रॉडुलेंट कहानी हमारे साथ हुई वो बस बताने के लायक नहीं है रहने दो वैसे सनफॉर मैं कभी नहीं छोड़ूंगा इस बात को आई फॉरगिवन एवरीथिंग बट एटलीस्ट ग्रांट मी some leverage to make fun. I'm not making fun even. I'm just enjoying life. किसी दिन बता दूंगा यार बल्कि नहीं यार पर्दा रखना अच्छा है क़यामत के दिन अल्लाह मेरे भी पर्दा डालेंगी या but I can वो नहीं होता British the British people say are you taking the piss you know so we do not. Which statement about catalyst in a chemical reaction is not correct? Everybody is so that's the problem with our society. Society के साथ यही problem है. Everybody is so interested in drama. Oh my God, teacher drama. Let's go, let's go. Just don't fraud, don't betray anybody, and don't lie. Don't lie. Liars hate them. Okay. Which statement about catalyst in a chemical reaction is not correct? Catalysts are not used up in the reaction. That's true. They aren't used up. They take, remember, guys, remember, catalysts, they do take part in the reaction, but they're not used up. Remember, for example, nitrogen monoxide. I'm giving you an example. Nitrogen monoxide reacts with oxygen to give you nitrogen dioxide, and this nitrogen dioxide reacts with sulfur dioxide to give you sulfur trioxide plus nitrogen monoxide. So what is the catalyst here? What is the catalyst here? Nitrogen monoxide is the catalyst here, right? Nitrogen monoxide is a catalyst because it does take part in the reaction, but is not getting used up. It reacts, but then it's formed. It reacts, but then it gets formed. Remember this. So we have to select an incorrect statement. Catalysts increase the energy of reacting particles. That's the incorrect statement because catalysts lower the activation energy. They don't increase the energy. That's what temperature does. Temperature increases the energy. A catalyst lowers the activation energy. Not the energy, but the activation energy. Yeah, Sayyid Saad, I also don't know. Ronaldo is just a different beast. I don't know. Those who are saying D are cooked. A catalyst lowers the atom. No, they're not cooked. They're correct, but they're not reading the question. He's saying which one of these is the incorrect statement. Not the correct. Catalyst lowers the activation energy. It does that. Catalyst increases the rate of reaction. It does that. So you guys need to know this. Read the question carefully. These questions are the questions that a lot of students have gotten wrong over the years. A lot of students. A lot of students, because what we tend to do is we see the correct statement, ooh, boop, we circle the correct statement. But the correct option is going to be the one which is not correct. We go like, boop, boop. That's what we do. 34. Baddie. Slay. I've gotten so many messages. Ahmad. Okay, Ahmed. Mohammed Ahmed, chill out. I'm gonna view all the personal messages in a while. Because after I'm done with this, I can then navigate. I don't know what Zoom has done, I swear to God. It's so difficult now, yeah. The diagram shows an energy level diagram for the reaction. The diagram shows that the reaction is exo or endo. It's exo or endo. The energy taken in during bond breaking is less than the energy given out during bond formation. Taken in is this much, given out is more. So it's exo. So not endo, not endo. And increasing the temperature increases a reason for this. Why does increasing the temperature increase the rate of reaction? Because if you increase the temperature, the frequency of collisions increases, as well as the percentage of particles possessing the activation energy also increase, right? So it's saying increasing the temperature increases. A reason for this is activation energy decreases or collision rate increases. Remember, the temperature does not decrease activation energy. That's what a catalyst does, but it does increase the energy of particles. Remember, the kinetic energy of particles increases. So now more particles have that activation energy. The temperature does not lower the activation energy. See, if this is the activation energy, let's suppose that's the activation energy, right? Now, and particles are here. Think of it like this. Particles are here and this is the activation energy. What temperature does is temperature takes these particles and shoot, it brings it here. Shoot, like this. So now more particles have the activation energy. That's what temperature does. It does not mess with the activation energy. It just increases the percentage of particles possessing that activation energy. But what does a catalyst do? A catalyst does not mess with the energy of the particles. A catalyst, oh, I'm going to use this analogy. Oh my God, I'm going to use this analogy in my upcoming class. Let me take a picture of this. I will use this. This is a good analogy. Oh my God, Sulaiman Khan, to see great. Okay. So what a catalyst does is it takes the EA and it brings it down. Boop, shoop. So I'm going to use this in the upcoming session, May, June 2026. That's actually a good way to think about it. Just have to make new ways to think about things. Some students may have gotten this, some students may have gotten it through the other ways. Shanshoop noodle. So it does not decrease the activation energy, the collision rate increases because the frequency of collisions increases. Sir, will you miss us? Absolutely, I will, Musa. I hope you guys miss me too. But I'm teaching AS chemistry from the 1st of August, but probably let's see who's going to take AS chemistry. Let's see. And hopefully, also, it is all contingent to if I have time. If I have time, guys, it's all contingent if I have time. Please remember this because you know that as a chartered accountant, it gets very difficult. Corporate life is not easy. Yeah. In the periodic table, how does the metallic character vary from left to right? You have metals on the left hand side, and non-metals on the right hand side. So left to right, going left to right, what happens? What happens to the metallic character? Metallic character means metallic properties. So from left to right, the metallic character would decrease because you're going from metals to non-metals. So their metallic properties would decrease, right? So what is happening to metallic character? It decreases. It does not increase. It does not increase and decrease. It definitely is just decreasing because you're going from metals to non-metals. So A, and A. And that is it. That is it, everybody. That is it. This was the 2016 set. Beta 500 बच्चे he likes only 100. Eh? Timetable, sir. What timetable, kiddo? Okay, what we can do is, okay, listen. What I'm going to do now, and you guys can tell your friends even, whoever you want. You can tell anybody who you want. What I'm going to do is till 6 p.m., not 6:30 even, till 6 p.m., I am going to accept MCQs from all of you guys. You have to write MCQ with it. You have to write MCQ while DMing me because I already have like 600 DMs. So you have to message MCQ and send in a proper screenshot. Send in a proper screenshot of that MCQ, or at least if it's not a screenshot, try to take a good picture of an MCQ which you still find difficult and you still aren't getting. It isn't C because it doesn't increase or decrease. Literally, you go from metals to non-metals, so it definitely decreases because realize it doesn't increase and decrease because you have a staircase from boron. So towards the left you have metals and towards the right you have non-metals. My WhatsApp is +92 333 5694 666. And those of you who want to see my channel Carboxyl, there are a lot of MCQs that I've solved over the past couple of days, couple of weeks, so you guys can check that out. But till 6 p.m. I'm accepting MCQs. Make sure to take a proper screenshot of that MCQ. Yeah, yeah. Sir, I will also send the marking scheme. Yeah, send the marking scheme. So I can look at the marking scheme like this. Ooh, oh my God, iska bacho, C have it. Dekho, C, D, E. Yeah. Nobody's perfect. I've never said that I'm perfect. But the thing is, you need to have your own conceptual clarity rather than reading from a book and just slowing it down, slowing the pace down, slowing the pace down, you know. So I'm accepting MCQs till 6 p.m. You guys can send MCQs. Write with it MCQ so that we can compile it. I'll ask somebody to compile it and then I'll solve it for you guys, right? So hopefully I'll conduct a session at around 9 p.m. But about the first 40 MCQs would be selected because again, I don't also have the time. So it's up to you guys whether you want to send MCQs or not. I'll have a subject guidance with you on the coming weekend. Okay? I'll hold a YouTube live session. I'll do a YouTube live. Yeah, Sarsad is a good teacher. Sarsad is actually a good friend of mine. He taught me how to conduct the YouTube live, but I was just too lazy. I have like I had an entire meeting with him. He taught me how to conduct YouTube live, and then I just yeah. And please, man, chill, 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 chill. See, that's why I don't like opening the chat. Chill, chill. Hey, hey. Okay, let me just pause the recording.